Black folks say they can't trust us for a reason. Because they can't trust us. Even the white liberals who are out here talking about, oh, I hate white supremacy. I hate racial injustice. But I'm going to vote for a racist Michael Bloomberg. You're stabbing your black brothers and brown brothers and sisters in the back. You ignorant motherfuckers. You're stabbing them in the back. You say one thing and do another. That's why you can't trust white people. That's why black people say you can't trust us. That's why they say that. Because they can't trust us. When have they ever been able to trust us? I've heard black people before stereotype white people as racist. I've heard them say things like, you can't trust white people. That's a stereotype. I've heard them say, all white people are racist. So, it stings. It stings sometimes when I hear that as a white person. But do I say anything to them about it? No. And you know why? Because we have never acknowledged or addressed our culture and our system of white supremacy collectively as white people. And even on an individual basis. How many white people actually address and acknowledge our system and our culture of white supremacy? How many white people are actually trying to dismantle this disease? 1%, 2%, 3%, maybe 4%? I'm guessing. But what's your thoughts on that? That's a question for you. I would say probably around 3 to 4%. I don't know. However, we all can say that it's not enough. White people from birth are taught that racism is when you say the N-word or when you do something to discriminate against an individual or a group of people. But they never, ever are taught that racism is a system. It's a system that's based on the degradation of non-white people, of black and brown folks. You don't hear about the system. You don't hear about racism being defined as a system. You hear it being defined as, oh, it's just, when you're a racist is when you say the N-word or when you attack people or when you intentionally discriminate against people. But racism is much, much, much more than that. In my view, racism is the masses and masses, I would say probably 95% of white people that spend their energy doing three things: denying our culture and system of white supremacy, ignoring it, turning a blind eye to it, pretending not to see it. They're silence, in other words, or they're highly defensive and extremely fragile. You can't talk to them because it's a moral attack against me personally. So these are the things that we've been taught as white people and the way that we respond to racism. I'm not racist. I'm a good person. However, being not racist in a system that you benefit from and that is hurting other people, obviously, and should be obviously not enough. You have to be anti-racist. You have to be working to dismantle the system. You have to be acknowledging it. You have to be educating other white people about the truth. First, you got to find out the fucking truth. That's why I'm talking to white people. I'm trying to share with you the truth, but most of you don't hear me. Most of the white people, I've been talking for 5 years now. You don't hear me. You don't want to hear me. You see my face? You delete the page. You run. You hide. I'm speaking the truth. It's the God's truth. White supremacy is real. It's a nasty disease. It's a myth. It's a lie. And it hurts people. And it matters. But we're taught from birth that black and brown folks don't matter, that their lives are unimportant. We are all taught that from birth. Even black and brown folks are taught that shit. And that some of them internalize it. So as I've said many times before, the neglect that we have as white people racially toward not addressing our system and our culture of white supremacy is the greatest evil of our time. It's the most neglected evil of our time. So yeah, the reason I'm talking to you guys again today, I got triggered earlier. I was on the internet just trying to figure out how many white liberals are supporting Bloomberg. And guess what? It's a shitload of white liberals that are supporting Bloomberg, who is a a guy who supported systems of racism very openly, and even in New York City, when I think when black and brown people were protesting to Bloomberg, hey, this is racially harassing me. This is discrimination from your police department. Stop and frisk. You're supposed to have a reasonable suspicion to stop a black and brown person for stop and frisk. But in 2013, a judge decided that, guess what? The police department have racially been discriminated against black and brown folks, maybe a million of them, for many, many years. And that it's not right, and that it is discrimination, and that it is racism. This is what a judge said, folks. This is what was happening. So one year they stopped and frisked 600,000 people in New York City. And when the people complained to Michael Bloomberg, black and brown folks, what did he do? Nothing. He went out and he talked about how that it's all minorities that are committing most of the murders. And he even said at one point that white people are being stopped too much. The man is a racist. He supported a system of racism. He apologized for it only because he's right 1 month before he ran for his announcement to run for president. He apologized. He never apologized once before. The man is he's disguised as a Democratic progressive, and we all know that he's a Republican. Stop playing, Michael Bloomberg. We all know who you are. My point is that black folks say they can't trust us for a reason. Because they can't trust us. Even the white liberals who are out here talking about, oh, I hate white supremacy. I hate racial injustice. But I'm going to vote for a racist Michael Bloomberg. You're stabbing your black brothers and brown brothers and sisters in the back. You ignorant motherfuckers. You're stabbing them in the back. You say one thing and do another. That's why you can't trust white people. That's why black people say you can't trust us. That's why they say that. Because they can't trust us. When have they ever been able to trust us? Never. Not one single year in this country have black and brown folks ever been able to trust us racially. Because of ignorant motherfuckers like you, have all these white progressives, all these white liberals voting for Bloomberg, knowing that he's a racist, and they don't give a fuck because it's not their problem. What does that mean? If they're only concerned with white issues, that makes you a white nationalist. That's the definition of white nationalism, is that you are for your own people and that you do not see the value in other people. White America is largely a white nationalist nation because of the lies of white supremacy. And we always have been, folks. I've been saying it for 5 years on this fucking camera now. And white people are still ignoring me. White people are still turning a blind eye to the truth. White people don't listen to me. They don't listen to anybody that speaks the truth. They certainly don't listen to black people or brown people when they talk about the realities of the lies of white supremacy and how the system works, when they talk about racial disparities and all the shit that happens. So all you white liberals out there that claim to care about racial justice, that claim to hate white supremacy, but yet want to vote for the racist Michael Bloomberg, kiss my fat white ass.